What's up? Welcome back or welcome to my channel. Today's video, I'm going to show you how I edit my Instagram photos. I'm going to start off really easy and simple and then show you guys a bunch of other apps that you can use to take your photo to the next level, and also share a couple apps that I use to make my Instagram story look really cool as well. Personally, for my specific feed, I like it to be very cool toned. I like pastel colors, very bright and white. Back in the day, I was all about the saturation. That was, you know, old me. I've changed. I am different now. But if you like the way my Instagram looks, if you have a similar taste as me, make sure to keep watching. And if you guys really like this video, I might be dropping some of my own presets. But with that said, let's just hop into the video. Okay, I scooted over so you guys can see my screen recording pop up so you guys can follow along. Alright, so we're gonna start off really basic, and I'm just gonna show you guys how I edit my photos just using the Photos app, because you can do that. You don't need to buy any apps to make your Instagram look cohesive and great. It just can help it a little bit more. So here's just like a random selfie, mirror selfie that I took. So obviously you can just hit auto and you can see there's a decent change there. But what I specifically do is I use the brilliance and I go up about 45. And I used to use highlights a lot in my Instagram back in the day when I did like to have a high saturation. It just makes it look a little more realistic than just using the saturation alone. I feel like that's just my opinion. Anyways, I go to shadows and then I go up about 50 or so, and it's gonna start looking really bright. All right, so then I take shadows and I go about to 50, and then I go to contrast and I do -15, and then I jump to black points and I take that up to about 30 or 35, just because it can get a little washed out when I am brightening the photo so much. And then I go to warmth, and like I said, I don't really like orangey photos like that, so I actually go down about 30 because I like to make my photos look a little more blue. And then I go to tint, and then I make that about +40 or so. It's a bit more brighter and certain colors are brought out more. I personally like the way this looks. Again, I used to use highlights a lot, or vibrancy if you do want to make the photo a bit more colorful, but just for my Instagram feed personally, this is how I like it. So literally that's all you can do if you want to with editing on your iPhone. If you want to post it, you like the way it looks, it's good to go. Also, another note with the Photos app, if you have a MacBook, you can actually copy and paste effects on your computer when you're editing, so that way you don't have to go through like I just did and, you know, do every single adjustment on every single photo that you like. Because if I go back, you can see there's like a million of these almost similar selfies that I took, but it just goes a lot faster if you want to edit multiple photos for a carousel. Okay, so now I'm going to show you a bunch of different apps that you can use to edit your photos. So back in the day, I used to edit using VSCO. Also, can we just take a moment? Look how happy she looks. Doesn't she look happy? That's my dog. That's Carly. And look at how cute she is. She was not happy, but anyway, so now I have it in my studio. I never bought any presets, I just used the ones that they gave you. So I used to take C1 and I would go to tone, and then I would increase the shadows up about 5 to 7 depending. Again, it makes you look very pale, kind of like how I look up here. But I'll show you guys how I fix that. And then I would go to white balance, and because I liked it more blue, I would take it down from anywhere from a 0.1 to -2.5 depending on the photo, obviously. And then I would take the tint and I would increase that to, again, about a 1 to 2.5 depending how pastel I wanted it to look. So here's the difference. Again, it's preference if you want to have more color, but for me, I like the cleaner pastel look now. And because of this filter, my skin tone does change quite a bit, and it makes it look like I'm a lot paler than I am. So you can use the skin tone effect to make it a little more vibrant per se. So I just went up 0.5, and then I would just hit next and save it, and then that's what I would post probably a couple months ago. But now I do other things. Okay, so one of my favorite apps that I feel like isn't that popular is an app called Avanten. My friend Sydney showed me this way back in high school, and it is such an underrated app that I feel like most people don't know about. So with Avanten, I'm going to take this photo that I have not edited yet at all. It's just from my camera roll. And a lot of apps like VSCO or Lightroom, you had to obviously buy the preset for. But what I like to do now is I take the filters, and here are some of my favorite filters, and just boom, free, 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 free. Like, there are so many different presets that you don't have to pay for. And I don't think I bought this app because it gives me all the ads, but there is, you know, for this photo, you know, there's just a million. Like, this one I kind of like if you want to be, you know, less colorful, but there are just so many presets and you literally don't have to buy any of them, which I think is amazing. Because I remember having this one app that I loved and they had really pretty presets for, but obviously you had to pay for them, so I never could use it. But it literally had B1 and B3 where you had to pay for it, and it's here for free. Okay, so another thing I want to talk about with this app specifically is the touch-up tool. I don't Facetune my photos or anything like that, but I do use the teeth whitening tool, not necessarily to edit my teeth to be whiter. I have done that in the past. It's very obvious when you do it, so if you're gonna do it, make it at least natural, or, you know, go to the dentist, get some teeth whitening strips, you know, there's other ways to do it. But with the teeth whitening tool, say for example, because I have the filter on it, my phone now looks kind of more pink and I want it to be whiter. I just go in really finely, you know, through my fingers and just kind of paint on the teeth whitening tool, and you can just see it just makes it brighter and whiter than it was originally. And then also, like I said, because all the filters are making me a little more pale, what I sometimes will do is I'll go in with the spray tan, and obviously you can take this with a grain of salt. You can do it, you cannot do it. I know this is technically like editing the way you look, but sometimes I will go in if it does make me really, really pale, and I'll just quickly go in and do a little brush up on my skin. But I want to make it clear that when I do this, I'm not doing it to make myself look fake tan. I'm just bringing back the color that I had from the original photo, and now since I put the filter on it, I look a lot more pale. So you guys can see the difference. I don't think this looks unnatural. I think this matches the original photo a lot better. I'll put up a side by side if you guys want to see the original photo versus the photo when I tan versus just leave it pale. I know that might be a little controversial, but sometimes I do it. I don't make myself look darker than I normally am, but I feel like this photo matches me right now better than it being really, really pale. And then the last app I want to talk about with editing photos is, of course, Lightroom, the one that everyone loves to use. It's a go-to favorite. I know, I get it. And I'm going to show you guys a couple ways I edit. So you guys can see I have a bunch of photos already edited. I'm not going to go through the process of me editing with my preset, because maybe a preset is coming to you guys soon, so I don't want to give anything away, but I will share a few tips with Lightroom. So one of the things, I can't take credit for this tip totally came from my friend Isabella's video, so I'm going to link hers before of how she edits her photos. But if you go to color, like I've been doing, where I've been changing the temperature to be, well, not that blue, but you know, I've been changing the temperature and the tint here and there. But if you go to mix, and say for example, I personally am not the biggest fan of green. So if you go to the green color, or any colors, you can change the color, which I think is very cool. So usually I'll take this one and I'll just bring it down to, what is that, like almost 50 or so, just because for me, I don't like the high saturation anymore. And this really just does a good job of balancing the photo better for my Instagram feed personally, because I don't want that color to stand out. And I'm in an Instagram like group on Facebook, and one of the questions was, how do you pick what colors you show on your Instagram? So in my opinion, the first thing I do is what color clothes do I primarily own? So a lot of my shirts are white and more light pastel colors. You know, I don't really own a lot of black or darker colors, so my Instagram feed naturally, because of the clothes I wear in real life, are lighter, and that's what I photograph in. I tend to keep my photos bright and white because that's the color I primarily wear in real life. The great thing about this Lightroom app is you can adjust the colors in the photo however you want. So if you have a photo where you are in a backyard with a bunch of green grass, but most photos you post, you aren't in your backyard with a bunch of green grass, you can just tone it down however you want, you know, which I think is really, really cool. Okay, and then I'm going to show you guys my preset. The first one I have is Bright Pastel, and it just kind of makes it a little brighter, you know, a little more blue. And then I have Pink Blue, which makes it very, very bright, and it does tone down the color a lot. So sometimes I will just go into light and then I will change the highlight to be a little more colorful. And that is how I edit my photos on Lightroom. If you guys want to know my exact Lightroom preset, this is what it looks like on a couple of my photos. So if you like the way that this filter looks, here's the before, here's the after. Again, before, after, just clearly it's a lot more cool toned. So if you like the way it looks, let me know and maybe I'll drop you guys a link to get your own preset of mine. And before we get into the story apps, the last app I want to talk about is Unnum, which you have probably heard about by now. I've been using this app for seriously years now and I freaking love it. And it's pretty much an app to organize your Instagram feed before you post. Back in the day, I would quickly post a photo, screenshot it, and then delete it to see what my feed would look like, to see if I liked the way it looked, which looking back is just stupid. Like, post what you want, it really doesn't matter. But if you do care about your feed, whether you're an influencer, you're looking for brand collaborations, or you're just someone that wants to have a cool looking feed, this is a great app to use. So as you can see, the ones with the little Instagram logo are the ones I've already posted, and then I'll give you guys a sneak peek of a couple photos that I haven't posted yet. But clearly this one I just posted, so I can delete that. But it's just a great way to literally just organize how you want your feed to look. Like, honestly, it's so easy. You can swap it around, you can hide certain photos, you can shift the grid to see how many photos out you want to look at, you know, if you just want to see the next photo you're going to post or the next two. And it's really just a great app to organize your feed to make it really cohesive. The last thing I want to talk about is Instagram stories. They might not be as important as your actual Instagram feed, but it's a good way to stay engaged and active with your audience when you're not posting every single day on Instagram. So I have 3 different apps that I use. Primarily, I just use one. So the one I use the most would be Storylux. As you can see, there's a million that I've already posted on my story, but they just have so many fun templates. You can purchase the ones, you know, that you see that are locked, but I think there are so many that work perfectly that you don't need to pay for, whether it's white or black, whether you like a collage elements. You know, I just think there is a story mode for literally anybody because they're all so cute. They're very simple. You know, if I want to do a quick like BF post, you can change the background, you know, to have it be paper walls or marble, or one of my favorites, it would be sparkly glitter, but you know, that's just a preference for me. The other 2 I like is Canva and StoryArt. StoryArt I probably use the least just because they don't give you that many before you have to buy anything, but I do like the animated ones. I also really like the minimal ones. You know, I think this one I probably use a lot and I just add a bunch of photos and I think it just makes your story look really put together and that you actually put time into it. And then the other one, of course, is Canva, which I use all the freaking time. They literally have so many free options and it's very customizable. You can literally change the text, the color, the picture, literally anything, and it's already in the set dimension for your phone and it just works great. Alright, I think that is everything I have to say for how I edit my Instagram photos. If you guys want other videos, I think I'm gonna do one about how I edit my videos and thumbnails, so let me know if you guys are interested in seeing that. But with that said, give this video a thumbs up, make sure to subscribe if you guys want to see more content like this, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye guys!